In this video, I'll be talking about another key theme of Daodejing, ziran. Ziran. This is from section 25, part 5. Humans follow Earth. Earth follows heaven. Heaven follows Dao. Dao follows ziran. So it seems like ziran is also an aspect of Dao, like the Wu Wei we talked about in the previous video. So Dao follows ziran. So what exactly is ziran? Ziran is often translated as natural or nature. Literally, it can mean self-soul. Zi, self, ran, soul. Is a crude and rough direct translation, but it's quite literal. So as a term, ziran basically is phenomenon which happens naturally as such by itself, hence self-soul. Okay, happens naturally as such by itself. Which then begs the question, are the ways of humans related to ziran? Okay. Some people will probably consider humans as part of the so-called natural world. But in the context of Daodejing, is that so? Are the ways of human related to ziran? In the context of Daodejing, not really. Let's explore some quotes from the text. This is from section 32, part 3. Just as heaven and earth mutually unite to shower sweet rain, without requiring any order command from people, the water submits into an even distribution by itself. Some of you may have noticed the Chinese character 字 here. It's a representation of ziran, and 自均 here means an even distribution by itself. Okay, 自 is by itself. So it's like when rain comes down and then it falls to form the water actually goes into an even distribution by itself without requiring any order or command from people. It just happens by itself. It is an important or useful visualization to have, this even distribution. It will help us understand better what ziran is later on. Okay, from another section, section 51, part 2, the honoring of Tao and exalting of De happen not by command, but happen by itself constantly. This time we have the full phrase, ziran, which means happen by itself. And again we have constantly, 常, as mentioned in the first video. And again it happens not by command, it happens by itself. So unlike the kings and dukes of probably Zhou dynasty, and these rulers probably demand that they be honored and exalted. And they may send commands to tell people to bow and prostrate or praise. So it's by command that people honor the rulers and exalt the rulers. But for Tao and De, the honoring of Tao and exalting of De happen not by command, happen by itself constantly. It's something that happens by itself. It's naturally as such by itself. It's also interesting to note that Daodejing actually differentiates between the way Dao of heaven, 天之道, versus the way of Dao of human, 人之道. So that means the Dao of heaven and the Dao of human, they are actually differentiated in Daodejing. This is from section 77, part 2. The way Dao of heaven is decreasing the excessive to increase the insufficient. The way Dao of human, however, is decreasing the insufficient to offer to the excessive. And if you remember the earlier visualization of even distribution, this is like the way or Dao of heaven, decreasing the excessive. Okay, when there's too much, it is spread out or distributed to increase the insufficient, such that there's this even distribution, diffusion, or spreading. The Dao of human, however, is decreasing the insufficient. That means you keep taking away from something to offer to the excessive, like the accumulation or concentration. For instance, you can see all these buildings here. Okay, the raw materials are taken away from mines and quarries and all this to offer to the excessive, to build it up, to concentrate and accumulate. It's also probably a criticism of Zhou dynasty by Lao Tzu, author of Daodejing. Okay, it's probably criticizing the rulers back then who exploit the poor, okay, decreasing the insufficient, exploit the poor, and to take away the riches to fill up in their own room, okay, to fill up their own room with gold and jade and all this by exploiting the poor so that they can become richer and richer. And in a way, it's somewhat like our society nowadays, where the rich get richer while the poor probably becomes poorer. Okay, this is the way Dao of human. So again, what exactly is this ziran? That happens not by human command, and that is not driven by craving due to discriminative knowledge. Because as we know, an aspect of Dao is Wu Wei, okay, Wu Wei, not driven by craving due to discriminative knowledge. Actions not driven by such things. So what exactly is this ziran? And how is it that supposedly inanimate and cravingless things can move in regularity and order? So probably the early thinkers, they look at the universe, okay, the sun, the moon, the stars, and the wind, the water. All these are supposedly inanimate and without craving. Okay, they do not have motivation to crave for something for our own selfish greed. But yet these supposedly inanimate, cravingless things can move, and in regularity and order. So why is this so? And this is related to the idea of ziran here, okay, which happens by itself, naturally as such by itself, ziran, the phenomenon that happens by itself. A clue can be gotten from section 40, part 1, where it said, reversion returning is the movement of Tao. Weakness, faintness is the usage of Tao. This, in a way, is ziran, the two directions of Tao. There are actually two directions here mentioned in this quote. Okay, let's explore further. It is from section 25, part 2. I don't know how to name, define, characterize it, but its label is called Tao. Forcing a name, definition, characteristic, Tao could be said to be great. Great could be said to be fading. Fading could be said to be diffusing, fast spreading. Diffusing, fast spreading could be said to be reversion. Okay, we see the word reversion here. And reversion actually is related to diffusion, diffusing, fast spreading, and related to fading, which is related to great and related to Tao. So this is one of the direction of the Tao, is ziran. So this reversion is sort of like entropy, where if you drop a red ink dye into water, you see it diffusing, distributing itself, spreading itself. And if you add a blue dye, it will also diffuse, spread, and distribute itself. Okay, all on its own. So reversion is related to fading, diffusing, fast spreading. In a way, it's a bit like from being, you, being, okay, going towards non-being, wu. So this is one direction of ziran, okay, like entropy, fading, diffusing, fast spreading. And it's all related to reversion, which is the movement of Tao. So what's the other direction? Okay, which seems to move from non-being to being. This is from section 4, part 1. Tao, in emptying, is thus in use or function. Puzzling never filled, occupied. Alas, it is abyss deep, like the source, ancestor, font of 10,000 things. And if you notice here, Tao in emptying is thus in use or function, which is related to what we saw earlier about the use and function of Tao. And it's like the source, ancestor, fonts of 10,000 things, which is like in emptying, okay, the 10,000 things can come forth. If you look at another section, section 5, part 2, that which is between heaven and earth, isn't it like the bellows? Spacious, empty, yet not deflated. The more the activation, the more the production emergence. Again, we see the relationship between spacious, empty, yet not deflated, with regards to use and function, okay? Activation, production, and emergence. So this is kind of like the scientific idea of zero-point energy, where there is energy in supposed vacuum space. Okay? Energy sort of keep emerging out from supposedly vacuum space. So vacuuming isn't quite nothingness. It's actually filled with some sort of intrinsic energy that can emerge. And this is related to the other direction of ziran, okay, which goes in this direction, from non-being towards being. And this is how we can interpret this line. Weakness, faintness is the usage of Tao, whereby if you want to make use of the production ability of Tao, you do it through this direction, from non-being to being. And weakness, faintness is related to emptiness. Empty but not deflated. When it's empty or not deflated, it's like this major yin part where it arises the minor yang, which is the direction from non-being towards being. Okay, this is the two directions of ziran. One direction here and the other direction here. Reversion, returning, is the movement of Tao, is the first direction. Weakness, faintness is the usage of Tao, the other direction. The translations are taken from my book here. You can read it for free at my Google site. Okay, thank you for watching this video.